A United States airman murdered in Arkansas.
And had his whole life ahead of him, just trying to do the right thing.
The American hero gunned down in a gas station trying to stop a robbery.
It is just so heartbreaking.
Snapchat setup.
My son said he got blindsided and someone punched him in the jaw.
The alarming message tonight to any parent whose child is on the social media app. He's an accused killer.
I told the family I'm sorry, and I told him to stay away from me.
But he's not spending any time in jail.
Through 75 counties and hundreds of investigations, from the most violent crimes to petty infractions. This is Arkansas Crime Watch with Mitch McCoy.
And good evening. It's been more than a week since a U.S. airman was killed while trying to stop a robbery at a North Little Rock gas station. These 4 men face capital murder and aggravated robbery charges. All are being held without bond right now. Court documents show Keith Kashan and Keith Lamont are brothers. This deadly robbery turned shooting happened March 15th at the Big Red Valero gas station on Broadway. United States Senior Airman Sean McCoy was a customer inside that store when he was shot by one of the robbers. Investigators say McCoy was trying to stop that holdup. North Little Rock Police Sergeant Amy Cooper joining us now. She's back in the Fox 16 studio. Sergeant, thanks for your time tonight. We want to start with, of course, the suspects in this case. Are there any more suspects that you're looking for, or do you guys think you have all the, I guess, men responsible?
Right now, although portions of this investigation are still ongoing, we're pretty confident at this point that we have all of those responsible in custody, and we are not actively searching for anyone else.
Obviously, a sigh of relief for the North Little Rock Police Department, citizens there, people nearby. This was obviously a big shock to the community.
Yes, sir.
Can you speak to the airman and, without compromising your case, of course, any word on what he did when he was trying to stop this robbery?
Well, at this time, it appears that the victim, Sean McCoy, was attempting to tackle one of the suspects in this at the time that he was tragically shot and killed.
A true American hero right here in North Little Rock trying to stop that armed robbery. This is not normal. I mean, I think we can say that on behalf of the North Little Rock Police Department. I think we can also say it on behalf of all the major law enforcement, even smaller law enforcement agencies in Arkansas. Can you speak to just how incredibly random this is?
Well, it is. This is not normal. This is not something that we experience regularly in North Little Rock, and I'm pretty confident this is just a rare case throughout many communities. It has been extremely heartbreaking. It has affected so many people in so many ways, not just the officers that arrived on scene that night, but the detectives who did a fantastic job investigating this case, along with the local, state, and federal agencies and the U.S. Air Force who investigated. It's just been a terribly heartbreaking event. I know just our community has been affected. Those military family, people in the military who is in the military has been affected by this news, and especially the families of the victim. It's just been tragic and heartbreaking.
Well, and you have to know the shockwave is going around the entire community, and then the Air Force Base as well.
Absolutely. Like I said, there just really isn't in a case like this. There's just isn't anyone who really is not affected by this case. It is a terrible tragedy when just one person dies by violent crime. We would love to have no one. One is one too many. But in this case, when you're dealing with an active service airman, it just makes it all the more tragic, being that he stepped up and answered the call to defend this nation. Sergeant,
thank you for your time, and definitely let your detectives know that there are many people in Central Arkansas that honor their service as well in terms of trying to take these individuals, the accused, off the street. Sergeant, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me, sir.
We're moving now to some of the documents and what they're revealing about Kashan Harris, one of the suspects in this case that we are just talking about. We are learning that he was wearing a GPS ankle monitor at the time of the shooting from a previous charge last December, and this all happened in the juvenile court system. So how did he, on an ankle monitor, allegedly get to the gas station under the radar? Juvenile laws prevent county officials from discussing cases or even admitting a case exists, so we will likely never know Kashan's conditions. We are told some juveniles on the ankle monitor allow him or her to be anywhere at any time, but they can be tracked if needed. Others are not allowed to leave their home or be out past a certain time. County officials could not speak specifics because of the law, but spoke general practices.
I can only think of 2 instances in my years in juvenile defense where a juvenile has either cut off a monitor or gone where they were not supposed to be. There would need to be data collected to determine if changes would need to be made.
Again, we do not know the conditions of Kashawn Harris's ankle monitor, and Corbin was only speaking general practices. She was not allowed to speak on any specific cases.
Snapchats and these Facebooks and Instagram, it's getting people hurt every day.
This is something you will not want to miss. A Central Arkansas parent is warning others after she says her son and his friend were jumped and robbed while meeting up with girls they met on Snapchat. The family believes it was a setup from the start to lure in unexpecting and trusting teens. Rebecca Jeffrey is on the case tonight.
It's the sound teens hear most from their phone, but a friendship created on Snapchat turned an innocent meetup into a robbery setup.
You wouldn't think that a teenager would even have the mindset of setting up something so cruel.
Stacy Price woke up to a call Friday night from North Little Rock police saying her son and his friend were victims of a crime, and it all started with some girls.
They met on Snapchat, and I guess they had been communicating, talking and wanting to meet.
The boys met up with the girls outside a dark house here on Latona Lane. The boys say they talked to the girls for a few minutes. One girl was even putting her Snapchat information into one of the boys' phones when everything changed.
My son said he got blindsided and someone punched him in the jaw.
They say several boys came out of nowhere, demanded their valuables, and tried to steal the boys' car. Both victims got away, one without his phone, the other without $160.
He's really shooken up. He is really traumatized by this.
While Price describes her son as quiet, shy, and responsible. After this close call, she's not taking any chances.
I just purchased him a new phone, so I'm putting an app on his phone, and it will tell me his location at all times.
Something she'll be preaching to others.
Parents need to know, to be aware of situations like this.
As she hopes justice for her son is served in a snap.
The family did file a police report and wants to press charges. Police unable to confirm because minors are involved.
And I hate that his death had to be so brutal and so mean.
The family of a Cleveland County man who was murdered in 2017 pleading for justice, all while the accused shooter sits at home. Susan Alcori is on the case talking with the accused killer.
Home feels emptier to Sarah McCamey.
And I hate that his death had to be so brutal and so mean.
Her walls decidedly bare.
We've been crying for 2 years.
Too distraught to hang any family photos since her brother's murder.
If there's any kind of way that I could take some of the pain and the suffering that he had to go through, I would.
59-year-old Dwight Crane was shot and killed outside this Cleveland County trailer. Police arrested the man accused of pulling the trigger, but he hasn't spent any time in prison for the crime.
I've never seen a person that could just get away with murder like that.
Finishing a breathing treatment, Travis Avery sits on house arrest.
I regret it. I hate it every day. I can't sleep.
The 59-year-old doesn't deny shooting Crane.
I tell the family I'm sorry, and I told him to stay away from me.
But he says prison time isn't an option since being diagnosed with a chronic lung and heart condition.
Wouldn't last in no prison.
With the case far from closed,
justice hadn't been served.
This sister keeps waiting for the day decorating her walls won't be so painful.
I'm just pleading humbly, as I know how, for the state of Arkansas to help put my brother Dwight to a peaceful rest.
Court records show there hasn't been a trial yet, despite it being 2 years. Susan Alcori is back in the Fox 16 newsroom now for us. Susan, it's very uncommon for a reporter to talk with someone accused of murder, but when you were there, did you happen to see if he was wearing an ankle monitor? Is there anything tracking him?
Right now, Mitch, at this point, there isn't. I actually asked Avery about that. He told me he doesn't have to wear an ankle monitor, and he even said that right now the requirement is just that he has to stay inside of his house.
Have you heard from the prosecutor at all on this case?
I have reached out to the Cleveland County prosecutor multiple times. Tom Wynn, I've left messages, and each time I've just been told that I would get a call back, but I still haven't heard anything.
All right, Susan Elcory in the Fox 16 newsroom tonight. Stay on that one for us. Thank you. We're moving to your crime tracker right now, where Arkansas State Police have made an arrest in a hit and run involving a college baseball player in Monticello. We're told Kate Lee Johnson of Star City. You're looking at her right here walking through. She was leaving jail, arrested and charged with leaving the scene of an accident, tampering with physical evidence, and obstructing governmental operations. She posted a $20,000 bail. The baseball player, Joseph Surida Jr., remains in critical condition. A drug bust in Conway County along Interstate 40 finds nearly 15 pounds of meth and 3,000 prescription pills. The loot worth more than $700,000. The Conway County Sheriff's Office says the bust happened following a traffic stop by Arkansas State Police. The suspect got out of the vehicle and ran away. He was taken into custody a bit later. All three people in that car are being held in the Conway County Detention Center. The suspects, they're from Georgia. 4 guns and jewelry have been stolen from Big Al's pawn shop in Fayetteville. Police have been able to identify this man on your screen. He's wearing that blue hoodie and he's just taking everything like it belongs to him. The guns, we're told, have been recovered. Police say the man got into the store by throwing a rock through the front door. A manager at the pawn shop says the stolen guns are harder to pawn off due to safety measures put in place.
In the pawn businesses, when you put that serial number in, it goes to the local law enforcement, and then they say, oh, flagged, then they'll flag it, we hold it, and they come down and do whatever they need to do.
Police ID'd the suspects thanks to tips coming in. A conversation at a gym in Saline County led to a deputy tracking down and returning stolen equipment from Texas. Saline County deputies say a detective spoke with a man at a fitness center. The man said $8,000 worth of equipment was stolen from him in Garland County. After looking into it, Saline County deputies traced it back to Texas, found it and brought it back. Authorities later discovered it was part of a theft ring, leading to the recovery of $50,000 of stolen property. We're moving to your cold case watch tonight, where police in Hot Springs revisiting a cold case from 6 years ago where a young woman was found dead in her apartment. Police say 20-year-old Katie Lavender was last seen March 19th back in 2013. They believe she may have gotten into a car in front of Oaklawn, just blocks away from her apartment, where she was found murdered the next morning. For the last 6 years, detectives say they've investigated all tips, but still no solid leads.
At this point, with what we have, we cannot rule anybody out. It was somebody who, we think it was somebody Katie knew.
If you know anything or remember anything about Katie or potentially seeing her that night, you are asked to call Hot Springs Police. It is the mug of the week, and it goes to Tiffany Williams for obvious reasons. As you can see, she was booked into the Pulaski County Jail last week. She's facing disorderly conduct, public intox, and harassment charges. Remember, if you have any information on any of these cases we talked about tonight, you are asked to call your local police department. And we want to remind you, all of the suspects you've seen tonight are innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. And as we leave you, here's a look at Arkansas's most wanted. Have a safe week, and I'll see you back on the streets tomorrow night on Fox 16 News at 9.